reach the yard entrance, cows walk right into the yard and even carry on into the milking parlour without stopping. Some may stand to one side and others will pass them in order to change from the walking order to the milking order. The machines should already be running with milking in progress as they arrive. A cow flow problem in the collecting yard is often caused by design problems. For example, here we see at least 4 problems: a poor position for a gate, a slope, change of surface, and a narrow gate. The gate into the yard should be as wide as the track. Cows like to walk straight ahead and on the level. In a well-designed collecting area, they will be facing the right direction to walk straight on to the milking parlour. If the cows have to turn sharply to enter the yard, or if there is a slope of any kind, they'll have to slow down to negotiate it and may even stop, causing an obstruction. I often see a slope up to the collecting yard, because most milking sheds are elevated for drainage. If the slope is steep, above 15%, I recommend steps. Cows always prefer steps to a steep slope. A transition from gravel or mud to concrete at the yard entrance will cause cows to stop. It's made even worse if the cows have to exit back onto the same entry area as they return to their paddocks after milking. The problem with the change from gravel to concrete is that gravel gets carried or shuffled onto the concrete surface by the cow's feet. Gravel on concrete is so painful to cows that they are reluctant to walk onto the surface. Cow flow stops. To fix this, consider using a transition material such as lime fines to absorb gravel and rocks before they get to the concrete. Distractions, especially water troughs or other feeders near the entrance to the collecting yard, will interrupt the flow. Cows, and particularly heifers, are afraid of footbaths and gratings at the entrance to the yard. Footbaths should always be in the exit race. If there's a problem up ahead that the cows know about, such as slippery concrete in the yard for example, the cows will tend to stand back and refuse to walk in. In yards where cows slip over, it can often be because of a sideways slope of 2% or more. Good to drain water off, but not good for cows to walk on. Try to make all slopes in the direction of the flow of the cows, or if the slope must be sideways, for example to a central drain, keep it to a minimum. Water will drain off a 1% slope. It doesn't need to be any more than that. When the gate into the yard is in the wrong place, near the entrance to the bales, the second half of the herd will be forced to turn away from the bales to fill the back of the yard. The result will be a blockage. Some cows will be caught in the pathway of others. There will be a lot more moving around in the yard, so extra space is needed for the cows to sort themselves out again. A major problem for cows in collecting yards is lack of space, either from a design fault, from increasing the size of the herd, or from moving the backing gate too soon after the herd arrives in the yard. There needs to be enough space in the collecting yard for cows to easily move between each other. Once the cows are gathered together in the yard waiting to be milked, there'll be a lot of activity if milking hasn't started. Milking should begin as the first cows arrive so that bullying is kept to a minimum. Cows like to be milked in a particular order, slightly different to the order in which they arrive at the yard. Some cows like to stand at the very back of the yard until they are ready, and then they'll come right through between all the other cows in order to be milked. There needs to be sufficient space to allow this. It could help to delay closing the gates to allow more time and space for the cows to enter and find their position in the collecting yard. Where there are any design problems, like this sharp turn, realise that cows will need longer to negotiate these difficult areas. The main thing for stockmen to remember is to give cows space and time.